Hi, and welcome, everybody. I'm Ross Benjamin, your host. As always, on Thursdays, I'm joined by Mr. Doug Upstone of DocSports.com. This is our NFL betting edition. Doug, boy, oh boy, the books took a beating last week in the NFL.
Yeah, they certainly did. It was rough all the way around. And, when that happens, I don't know if there's a lot of pity for them from that standpoint. And I do know that and this happens all the time, every single year, when they win, they're kind of sheepish, they're like, well, it wasn't a bad week. It was okay. It's a little above normal. We lost some of this, we lost some of that. But when they lose, oh my goodness, it's like the sky's falling. Okay. So I always get amused, to read all the different remarks from the bookmakers at the different places and stuff like that. But you know what? Hey, you're not going to win every single week, no matter what you do and how you do it. Okay. So
unfortunately, I don't seem to do well when the books don't do well. So I'm not a public bettor. It must be okay.
Right.
I never did a study on how many of my bets were anti-public or contrarian plays, but I just don't seem to do well when that happens. So unlike you, I'm a little empathetic only because it affects me, Anyway, up in your neck of the woods, Doug, a lot of people must be pretty damn happy with the Arizona Cardinals right now after week 5, the only undefeated team in the NFL.
Yeah, Ross, I think everybody's surprised even here that this has gone on. And, when we looked at that division, okay, when the season started, we knew it was, the best division in football, okay, the NFC West. But, the thinking was, well, the Rams, they went to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, had an off year, they'd probably come back. San Francisco still looks strong. Seattle still looks strong. Arizona didn't look bad, but they just didn't jump off the page. So here we are sitting with them at 5-0. And the thing that has struck me in watching them play, because obviously in this market we get them every single week, so that's among the games that I'm watching on the weekend. And they're more talented than many people realize, and they have quietly assembled this roster in a pretty great fashion. When you think about, obviously Kyler Murray is the right guy for this particular type of offense, okay, that Cliff Kingsbury runs. But now, they got Andre Hopkins, okay, they Christian Kirk, really good deep threat. They added Julio Jones, okay, as let's just say a slot receiver, and then they brought in, and he's had an impact the last couple of weeks, Rondale Moore from Purdue.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so, so there's a lot there. Now the running game doesn't, it's not overwhelming. They don't really have any big backs or anything like that, but they don't really need that. Okay. And so, they do enough, and Murray picks up a lot of yards rushing himself. Offensive line is quietly good. Okay. And is much improved. And then on the other side of the ball, Ross, okay, they have some studs, including J.J. Watt, okay, now in the defensive line. Their secondary is outstanding. These guys are glue. And I'm really impressed with their defensive, their defense in the secondary, because these guys, they are tough and they just don't give any quarter. So, you know what? It's a pretty good football team. Okay. Is it the best team in the NFL? Doubt it. Okay. But, myself, like a lot of people, they're now in the top 5. Okay. And looking at power ratings. And so are they that good? Yeah, they are. Now, will it hold up? We'll see. Murray's got a little bit of an issue with his shoulder. Okay. Coming into this week. That was a problem last year where he just couldn't throw the ball deep. If that continues again, then that changes the dynamic.
Yeah, it certainly does. But I'll tell you what, I much rather watch Murray play than Lamar. I just think only for the aspect, Doug, that a lot of Lamar's runs are, Lamar Jackson, I'm referring to, of the Baltimore Ravens. A lot of his quarterback runs are designed runs where Kyler Murray, he improvises more when he takes off. They do have some design runs for him, but they also know he's a smallish type quarterback compared to Lamar Jackson, and they don't take as many risks in that regard. But yeah, I hope his shoulder's okay and his throwing motion's okay. And I know one guy that won't be happy if he can't go down the field like he used to, and that's going to be DeAndre Hopkins. They've been a pretty good combination since they stole Hopkins from Houston. So in any event, I still don't understand that trade, Doug.
That's why Bill O'Brien's no longer in the NFL.
And he should
it's
never be in the NFL again.
And it's also, I was going to say, it's also a reason why he was a contributing factor to Alabama losing last week, by the way, too.
Yeah.
So anyways.
And one of the reasons why the books got killed last week is, from my understanding and what I've read and talked to people in the industry, a lot hinged on that Buffalo Bills game, where people needed the Bills to complete a teaser. They needed the Bills to complete a parlay, and also, close to 65% of the country had wagered on Buffalo, plus over that in money wagered. I think it was close to 70% of the money went down on Buffalo at Kansas City. So the Buffalo Bills, they're up in my neck of the woods, and our teams in our neck of the woods anyway. Well, it's my team, the Buffalo Bills. I know that you're a big Green Bay fan, even though you're in Arizona, but 4-1 so far. How they lost to Pittsburgh in the season opener after how they looked the last 4 weeks is beyond me. They're going to have a tough task on hand this coming Monday night at Tennessee. Now, that game opened with Buffalo as a 3.5-point favorite. It's now as high as 5.5 or 6, which steers me away a little bit. But here's the thing. Buffalo went 13-3 a season ago, and 2 of their losses came in consecutive weeks, and both were on primetime TV. They had lost to Kansas City in a Monday night matchup, and they lost to a makeup game against Tennessee, which was a Tuesday night standalone game, I should say, rather than national TV. And they were able to atone for that loss to Kansas City last week, and now in consecutive weeks again they face at Kansas City, at Tennessee. Could they atone for the loss to Tennessee last year? We'll see. I just have a hard time believing that Tennessee defense, the way it's looked, is going to be able to stop Buffalo. And if Buffalo gets a comfortable lead in that game, which they seem to always have lately, then you take that Derrick Henry pound away at you running game. So we'll see. It'll make for an intriguing matchup and one I look forward to. And Arizona and Cleveland too this week. That's a great matchup. I mean, the Browns, I was looking up, Doug, a team that loses, I should say, and scores 40 or more in the NFL is rare. Okay. It's extremely rare. Very seldom happens. And without giving the card away, I would tell you that when those teams that lost their previous game and they scored 40 or more in that loss, and they're favored in the game, a reasonably sized favorite, they do awfully well in the short amount of sample size it's provided for me on my database. Anyway, Doug, you got a free pick for us on Sunday.
Yes, I do. And it is not Sunday afternoon. Let's get that clear. It's right. Sunday morning. Okay. And in fact, you might even want to have some tea and crumpets ready to go. Okay. for this one, because we're going to London with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the home team, against Miami in the Battle of Florida over the pond. So we got that going. So is it a marquee matchup? Heck no. Okay. It's a terrible game. Okay. But it's going to be on CBS, and Jacksonville, as we know, they're winless at 0-5. They've only covered the spread once. Their head coach, Urban Meyer, is not only finding victories to be challenging to get, he's also on a losing streak with his wife and his family, okay, for other things that he's done. Now, the Jaguars are losing by 11.8 points per game, and they're being outgained by 60 yards. However, looking how the season was going to start, this really isn't a surprise to anybody, okay, at this point. What is a surprise though, Ross, is Miami is 1-4 and 2-3 against the spread. Now, last year they were 10-6, okay, and had a unexpectedly good season. So that was a bit of a surprise there. But from that standpoint, now they've really seemed to have taken a step backwards, which surprised to me because Brian Flores, I thought he was doing a really good job with this team and with this franchise. Now, the thing that I look at is that last year's team, though, they only gave up 21 points per game. Since giving up 17 in the opening or 16 in the opening week against New England, they've allowed 32 points per game in their last 4. Okay, so that's a big difference on the defense. And the defense last year, as you know, Ross, they had a lot of turnovers that they
Yes.
turned into points, as well. Now, we don't know yet, okay? And I don't know. Well, eventually we'll find out if Tua is a franchise quarterback. He keeps getting hurt. And even though there's chance he might play this week, or there's rumors that he will play this week, one thing we do know is that Jacoby Brissett is a good backup quarterback, not a starter, okay? Tua, like I said, he might come back again this week. However, I have a feeling with the Jacksonville at +3.5 that this might be their week. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but you know what? I have no problem taking the 3.5 with Jacksonville as an ugly dog, okay, playing a team that record-wise is nearly as bad as they are. So let's take the Jacksonville Jaguars to take down Miami this week.
Yeah, it's like trying to put a tuxedo on a pig when you look at this game. They're both terrible. And the bottom line is, I know there's some inner turmoil within the Dolphins front office because from what I understand, the coaching staff and general manager wanted to take Justin Herbert as the number 1 pick, and they were pressured by the owner to take Tua. So how'd that work out? Anyway, yeah, you're right. Very observant observation, Doug, because last year, that was about the most deceiving, allowing 21 points per game there was in the NFL. They were a beneficiary of a lot of turnovers. They turned a lot of those turnovers into scores. And quite frankly, they were pretty lucky defensively and pretty lucky overall to go 10-6. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from the job that Brian Flores did there, but I think the expectations were way too high coming in. Now you have a defense that can't stop anybody, and they have a pair of corners that are the highest paid tandem in the NFL right now. So what's up with that? So we'll see going forward. I can't disagree with that pick. So Sunday morning, the Doug Upstone of DocSports.com, he likes the Jacksonville Jaguars plus the 3.5 against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to take a look at the Minnesota and Carolina game. I'm going to really focus in on the total in this game, which is currently 46 at the time of this taping. Again, folks, we're taping on Thursday, October 14th. So keep that in mind when you view the videos. Our lines may have moved. So keep that in mind. We're not giving you a false line. We're giving you a line that was current at the time of recording. So Carolina 3-0 to the under at home this year, combined average of 35 points scored per game. Minnesota 3-0 under in the last 3, a combined 34.7 points scored per game. So pretty close in terms of what that combined average has been for both teams. Carolina's defense, I mean, where does it start? Number 3 in scoring, number 2 in total yards, number 1 against the pass, number 8 against the run. That speaks for itself. They played tremendous this year. As a matter of fact, if you take that Dallas game out of the equation, and I only say that because Dallas is going to move the ball on anybody right now. If Dak Prescott is healthy, that trio of wide receivers in that offense with the running game going now is going to score no matter who they face. And if you take that Dallas game, like I said, out of the equation, this is a Carolina defense in their other 4 games, allowing 12.7 points and 211.5 yards per game. Now, having said that, a negative is Carolina's allowed 14 sacks this year. And Minnesota is number 2 in the NFL at 18 sacks. So look for the Vikings to be able to apply a lot of pressure to Sam Darnold. And I could see them getting home anywhere from 3 to 4 times in this game, which will kill some drives. or put them out of field goal range or make it a longer field goal attempt, whatever the occasion may be. I think the sacks will come into play when it comes to Minnesota's front seven against Carolina's front five. The Vikings are also a very underappreciated number 9 in scoring defense at 21.8 points per game as well. Carolina has been good offensively, but they're not exactly an explosive offense. Not certain of the status of Christian McCaffrey going in. Doug, do you have any word on that?
50-50 is last I heard.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's been accounted for. So whether he's in the lineup or he's out of the lineup, I still like this game to go under the total of 46. That's the Minnesota Vikings, Carolina Panthers, under 46. Doug Upstone likes the Sunday morning game from England, and he likes the Jacksonville Jaguars plus the 3.5 over the Miami Dolphins. Before we go, Doug, tell the folks where they could find you, how you've been doing of late, and any final thoughts you may have.
Yes, indeed. I do. I know I say this, but it's just true. I do like your pick there. The logic, I think, is all there. Minnesota, just they can move the ball, but it just depends upon can they score, and that's what they for the most part haven't done in a lot of cases this year. And then Sam Darnold's turning back into Sam Darnold the last couple of weeks. Okay, so we have that going as well. But as far as myself going to Ross, Doc Sports, Doug Upstone at Doc Sports, and so 14-4 in the NFL to start the season, up about $4,000 based on units to this point, and it's been going very well. My top plays, weekly top plays, 5-0. So far in the NFL, so that has gone very well. So it's been a good start. Okay, just going to try and keep it going yet again. I have a 6-unit play going this week, plus then along with college football. Okay, the last 5 weeks, pro and college combined, 26-15, was that 63%? I think right around in there. So going to try and make that keep on the right path. And I really like this week's card because I literally, before we did this video, I just finished up with the card. Going to have 10 plays in all, 6 in college, 4 in the pros. And so looking forward to a big weekend, Ross, just like yourself.
Oh, yeah. It's been a tough go for me the last few weeks. Like I've been telling you folks, I beat on my chest when I win. But when things don't go well, I own up. It happens. And all I could tell you is behind every losing streak I've ever had in my career, there always seems to follow with a torrid winning streak that more than makes up for any losses I may have had during a bad run. And I project that that's going to begin starting this weekend, in which I'll have anywhere from 5 to 6 college football plays on Saturday, another 4 on Sunday. I'll also have a Monday night winner as well. You could find me at rbwins.com. That's rbwins.com. And you could also find Doug once again at docsports.com. Until the next time, for Doug Upstone, I'm Ross Benjamin. Good luck and take care, folks.